Welcome back, everyone, to another wonderful episode of Grace After the Fire with yours truly, Joss and Grace. Blessings to you all. This episode, I did, but I wanted to redo because I wanted to expound on it. I've been having some reflective moments lately about how far I've come in my journey, and in periods of hermit and reflection, we kind of just take everything back, observe, make good mental notes about what we'd like to change and aspire to as we continue to grow and evolve. And lately, through reorganizing, getting back in touch with me, I guess, femininity, my self care, doing what makes me happy has really made things easier and closure, in my overall view of how I've accepted my healing journey. So, um, some things as I go back and forth in my notes, I do want to come back to, only because they're always going to be relevant. Healing isn't linear. Sometimes you might feel this way, you might feel that way the next day, but overall, you still have a sense of managing and maintaining certain areas that are pivotal to your growth. Um, right now, in the light of, I guess, this full moon or this day, I've been really reflecting on how fast this year has been going. It's already almost the middle of February, and since Grace's Oasis and the things that I know spirit and intuition have taught me, um, is to really trust my gut. Like, now that it's almost Valentine's and I find myself being entertained by new prospects or whatever, it's really important to keep, the same purposeful standards, um, and be mindful of who you're entertaining. So, um, like I said, I've had, and so, it's been a really good time to just reflect on how far I've come, the goals that I had when I first started Grace's Oasis, and now with Faith After the Fire, when I went through my own battles of spiritual warfare over uh, the holiday season and came out better. Um, I'd like to think with more boundaries, more secure in my standards, and I think that it's all reaffirming the steps, process, the tools that I've utilized to heal, and I get to see my faith in action. So I've been greatly inspired by how I've handled my challenges, how I've handled um, journaling my thoughts and getting real with the uncomfortable side of the process. The patience, the having to wait on divine timing and putting on the full armor of God and making sure that you are 10 toes down in your faith as things come at you to try to test it, as the enemy will try the traps and the snares to get you entangled in things. And it's also that you can reaffirm your faith in the Most High, your faith in Jesus, and keep going and growing in a direction that keeps you full of purpose. Um, I have my children, I have my recovery from stage 4 breast cancer. I have so many guides under my belt to affirm where I am in life and the woman that I've chosen to become. Um, I am also a mother of five, and my adult children are 20 and 21. You know, my daughter, my one girl, four boys. My one girl has my grandson, right? And even in that process of what kind of mature woman, you know, in my age, I'm only 41. I'm going to be 42 this year, Gemini. If you believe in that kind of thing. But um, still, as a woman of God, I still have expectations of what I want to become as I develop and mature in age, because this is a new day for me. Standing with God fully in the presence of the Most High and being led by Jesus right now has been tantamount to my growth and development overall. I have felt more safe and guided, um, not just believing, but resonating in the physical on an active religious basis with my own discipline, if you will. Um, to hold myself accountable for my spiritual growth with my faith, you know, during these changes and this healing time. I've taken my healing very seriously, and I'm pulling in so many aspects of what that looks like, what an ideal or what my higher self looks like, and having to really process those steps or the mindset that it would take to become um, a higher version of myself from where I was and on the journey as I develop how I'd like to be. So, with all these lessons and with all the things that I've grown through up until now, toxic relationships, cancer, um, being a parent, um, being a caregiver for my mother, um, I've been very intrigued about what God has for me and where this journey will continue to take me, with full faith and confidence that God is leading the way. I'm listening to the rain as well. It's a very calm and peaceful evening. Along with my affirmations, I have my board. Let's see if you can see that. And it's the I am board. So I have all these affirmations that I kind of take in, and I try to, you know, keep myself affirming to the things that I know I want and my desires, especially now that I'm free of so many different elements. I think it's a memory thing. But not having to worry about other people, relationships, family, like I don't have to worry so much about distractions, that I can just focus on me. So I'm very blessed for this time that I can do so much inner healing and reflection about what serves my higher good and what I can really make a conscious decision about to leave behind. Um, it's been a very adventurous journey, but I'm cooling. I'm happy to be here. Um, but yeah, I can understand and understand the reasons why I did certain things. But that's it's like you have to recognize when you are your own red flag, when you ignore your intuition, when you don't go by what makes you happy, when you second guess what you really want out of a situation and you just go with it, or you like, okay, well, maybe I'll do this to make somebody else happy. And you might do that, once or twice, but after a while, and you make a career out of trying to put other people's stuff before you, and you try to make other people's uh, suggestions or their input or their opinions fit more than what you would want. Like, you have to really know your own voice to be able to defend it. And if you're like me, I wasn't so much of a people pleaser. It's just that I thought that I could love people to an understanding. If I show you how I want to be treated, maybe you'll treat me the same, and it doesn't work that way always. Unfortunately, people only understand you by their level of perspective, by what they see, by what their expectations are, how they were raised, or whatever. And if you happen to be a little different, they're not going to reciprocate. So let's not have the expectation that anybody out there is like you, because they're not. And moving forward, you just try to keep an open mind about the fact that, what you experience is yours to share, but it's not for anybody else to exploit. And once people start getting on your toes and start really like bogarting and infiltrating your boundaries, and doing the most to try to convince you that what they have going on is for it's for their best interest but not for yours, and you're violating your own. Yeah, so with that, you'd be violating your own red flags. Like, you're setting yourself up for failure if you do not, like, adhere to what you want. Because if it's not, it's just not. And you try to make it fit with people, and they try to make really good use of wearing masks to say, hey, I'm exactly whatever you think I am in order for me to benefit. And as long as we're both benefiting, as in you're not going to stop giving and I'm not going to stop taking because, hey, this is working out so well, then you have a problem. There's your problem. So I can only talk about myself. And it sucks when it happens with family as well. Is when you like, I get giving your kids like what you never had or whatever, but there's to a point of like, don't do it to your detriment. You can't do it for family, you can't do it for kids, you can't do it for lovers unless you're in a like a spousal official relationship under God. It's like you can't, and that's when you're equally yoked. That's when Ruth and Boaz come together and make something divine. But you can't do that with someone that you're hoping, that because like, I'm an introvert. I'm one of the shy kids growing up. I had glasses I still wear to this day. And sometimes like it's harder to get a message like that, because it's like, but you do all the right things. So it's like, well, why me then? I'm not loud, I'm not crash, I'm not rude, I'm not boastful, I'm not prideful. But then again, you got an ego and you still look for validation in love. So I had to really love myself, and love myself to the point of loving myself the way I expected somebody else to love me for real, and get through all the void and all the cracks and crevices of my heart about what it is exactly that I expected from love, and have a conversation about what I expected love to be for me, so that I can fall in love with myself. In doing so, I found that Jesus loves all of me. And so I fell in love with Jesus. And in doing so, I accepted myself. I actually got some closure about why I felt so hurt and so used from before, and forgave those people, because I can't love you any better, even though my perspective of hurt isn't. And so then I'm like, who am I to judge, right? What is whose level of what, you know? You look at rap and all this and the culture and things like that, and we feel like, you know, well, at least I'm not this and that and the third, but you sabotage yourself in other ways too. So you have to listen to your own love language. And all this is food for thought for myself. But I'm a black sheep. I'm a lone wolf. So, you know, things aren't going to be for me as they would be for typicals or whatever, normal people or whatever the y'alls do, whatever. So I have to treat myself with grace because I already know that it could be easy to go hard on me because I'm so different. But it's because I'm so unique and so rare that I have to be gentle with myself and love myself the way Jesus loves me. And that's made my relationship with myself that much more sweeter because loving myself with his eyes gave me compassion. So, because in the way that I be my own worst critic, so I try to make sure that I'm easy on myself because I could be really hard on myself because you're supposed to know that, or you should know people like that, or you know, you need to plan ahead for this. Like it's so much micromanaging that I do on myself that it's like if there's a problem, then you mean it's not perfect, and it's not like being a perfectionist really. It's just that I've seen so many people get offended because they don't put in the work that they expect other people to give them affectionately. But I'm just like running down some thoughts, you know, as I grow, and I'm just really proud of myself and seeing my self-worth in action, like not just saying it like on the board, but actually seeing it and living it and implying it on a daily, regular, moment to moment basis where I'm being accountable of how I spend my time and how I process and really try to utilize my wellness um, certification, if you will, with myself. And then I try to present something to you all, which is nothing but another. So I was coming on today because I had a intention with a script today about when he drops the ball, but you're the villain. And I wanted to clean that up because I had such a good time talking about it the other day, but I don't think I published it. So I wanted to clean it up a little bit. and but I think I'm gonna get my charger and all this stuff and get it ready. So I can come back and do this one fresh. But I did want to go into my self-worth, and having said that goes into like how lately I've been taking more responsibility for my happiness. As in, like, well, what am I doing? Is this what more can I do to maximize this moment into my happiness and pour more into my happy space, my happy place, and things like that. So it's nice being soft and feminine and sweet, and you know, being respected as such lately. That's reaffirming to be respected as such. So, yeah, leave it at this, and then I think I'm gonna come back. 'Cause I gotta charge up my phone, but I really I think I'm gonna go more into this. Um, don't go away. We'll be right back. Let's just see if we can get started just a little bit. Just a little bit while I have it fresh. But I am on 8%. I don't want my camera to cut off, so we have that. So when he drops the ball, but you're the villain. And I say that to say I had sometimes I do talk about my ex-husband, right? So I had an issue with my ex-husband where one of the last parts of when we were together, right? To this day, he makes the story that I almost got him killed in the house, right? I almost got him shot in the house. What happened was, now this is my side of the story, right? What happened was, is we had a discussion, and he got upset. He went into my mother's room, and in my mother's room, we have my mom's best friend that was staying with us at the time. Her name is Kim. She was staying in my mom's room, and she came home, right? And he's got himself locked in the room. I'm knocking on the door, like, you mind coming out so she can come in and everything? You got yourself locked in. Because she had an outside patio walkway to get in the house, and then she also had, like, inside the house to get into her room. So he's got both of the doors locked and everything, so it gets a little late, and the nature of the argument was about, like, it's stupid. It's like, it's July 4th and I'm expecting you to be around the kids and all this other stuff. But he locks himself in the room. I call the cops. They come over. They're talking to him. Okay, that's fine. It's just some domestics. Okay. They are turning to leave, but they see that he has a gun in the back of his waist, in his pants. No shirt on. He turned around and there's a gun back there. And so any natural person would be like, well, why are you wearing a gun in your own home? Why do you feel like you have to wear the gun in the home? And I used to feel like that all the time, like little intimidation or control tactics that he'd come up with to use about why are you wearing your firearm indoors. We got kids, we got little kids and stuff. And so the cops yell at him, get on the ground, get on the ground. And I take the kids and just scuttle off in the other room, like, well, nobody told him to wear it. So the cops are asking me, well, why is he wearing a gun? I don't know why he's wearing a gun. That's not, what do I know? So he exaggerates the story, tells everybody that I tried to get him killed and all this other stuff, which to over dramatize him wanting to leap into another damsel's arms or whatever. But it's just like, that's the story because you wanted to be a victim. People have these sob stories that they give just because they want to have somebody feel sorry for them, and that's supposed to be the reason. When a man drops the ball, you react and suddenly you're the villain. He paints himself as the victim, twists the story, leaves out the part, where he caused the problem in the first place. Sound familiar? The cycle is so predictable once you see it for what it is. It starts with him failing to meet a basic need, whether it's emotional support, consistency, honesty, or just effort. Maybe he ghosts you, dismisses your feelings, or flat out disrespects you. And when you react, whether that's confronting him, pulling back, or expressing your hurt, he suddenly becomes the victim. It's not addressing what he did, no accountability, no understanding, just a full on pity party for himself. The flip, you're the bad guy now. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Instead of acknowledging the problem, he flips the script. Now you're too emotional. You're overreacting. You never let things go. And just like that, he shifts the focus away from his mistake and onto your reaction to his mistake. And let's be real, he's not telling the full story. When he goes and complains to his friends, his family, or his little audience, he's leaving out some key details. He's not saying, yeah, I ignored her feelings for weeks, and when she finally spoke up, I made her feel like she was asking for too much. Nope. Instead, it's, man, she flipped out on me for no reason. And of course, people love a good sob story. So now he's got his little fan club feeling sorry for him while you're left standing there wondering if you really were in the wrong. Spoiler alert, you weren't, right? So, Section 3, the enablers. People who only hear his version. Bless their hearts. Let's talk about the enablers. The people who jump to defend him without knowing the full story. These are the folks who say things like, he's going through a lot right now, or maybe you should have handled that differently. Meanwhile, they never ask how you feel, never question his side of the story, and of course, never hold him accountable. Here's the thing. You don't have to explain yourself to these people. You don't have to prove that your reaction was justified. Because the ones who want to understand will ask, and the ones who don't, they were never on your side to begin with. All things I had to learn, right? So, how to protect yourself. So what do you do when you find yourself in this situation? First, you trust your own reality. Gaslighting works when you start doubting yourself, so don't. You know what happened. You know what led to your reaction. Second, don't waste your energy defending yourself to people who have already made up their minds. Let them believe what they want. It's not your job to convince them. And third, remember that your feelings are valid. If something hurt you, it hurt you. Period. You don't need permission. You don't need permission to be upset, and you don't need to shrink yourself just to avoid conflict. Listen, if you've been through this, you are not crazy, you're not overreacting, you're not too sensitive or emotional, and you are not the villain just because someone else refuses to take responsibility. At the end of the day, a healthy relationship requires two things: accountability and empathy. And if someone lacks both, that's not love, that's manipulation. And you deserve better. Thank you for listening today. So if this resonated, absolutely click like, share, all that good stuff. But this was definitely something that needed to be addressed for me, especially because, like I said, accountability and empathy, if not, it just screams narcissism. And I've been in too many toxic narcissistic relationships to and a lot of this is just building on my self-worth, because as I know I'm supposed to be treated a certain way with a certain respect. It's not for me to demand anybody to do it. It's if you do, you do. If you don't, you're gone. And that's it. It's not, let's make a deal about my worth. Let's make a deal of how you feel I should be treated. We're not doing that. And of course, I feel that's how I lost my marriage, because I don't have the pucker. I cannot kiss arse. Okay, I can't appease egos for the sake of avoiding conflict or avoiding an interaction or avoiding a difficult conversation because they're emotionally inept. That's not on me. That's for me to remove myself. And I shouldn't have tried so hard to force my love. Thunder. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Force my love on anyone that was not in a healthy position to love themselves or put God first. Because those two right there is why I feel I'm in isolation as it is, because I'd rather be with people that resonate on a more spiritual level than people that go off of their ego. And it's really sad that people fall victim to trying to appease people just so that they can gain us something. Like, I just think I'm too grown for that. Other people can do that, but I don't want to be nice to you just because you're my boyfriend. Or let me just make it plain. I don't want to, like I said, have to fulfill someone's ego and not have real empathy and love and compassion reciprocated in a dynamic of the foundation of the relationship. I'd rather build off of those things so that we can be equally yoked, meshed, and entwined, intimate like that. Because at this point, I realize that people that don't put God first, they don't, it's not genuine. It doesn't wind up being genuine. So I'd rather that be at the forefront, so that way we don't have any misunderstandings as to what we expect from one another. Because I'm not Bible thumping, but at the same time, there's a lot that I'm not going to entertain. Tattoos and all. There's a lot that I'm not going to entertain. So it's just really having standards. So it's really standing 10 toes on the standards and morals that you have in yourself, to then be a bonus, so that then you can be a blessing to someone else, knowing your worth and knowing who you are before you get in a relationship, not having to heal with somebody else, or having to find yourself with somebody that's just as lost, doesn't really boil into what would be a formidable relationship that lasts. Anything else is almost conditional. How do you say, like you're, what's the word? Placate comes to mind, but you don't want to not, because I don't want to be shallow, and I know that there's a lot more to me, but it requires those layers of trust to be acknowledged in our intimacy for me to go that deep. Because there's a lot of people that have known me for decades but still only know like this much of me. Only because we don't get that deep, because if you can't get that deep with yourself, I can't go any deeper than you're allowed to go within yourself. So a lot of people don't know how deep I can be, because they haven't met those depths within themselves. That's okay. You don't force, you don't pry, you just accept. We don't judge, we don't judge. We just observe, So this cycle makes you really question yourself. But you're not responsible for managing someone else's guilt. You are not required to carry the weight of their lives just because they refuse to deal with the truth. You deserve relationships that bring you peace, not confusion. Love should not be a battle for respect. And if someone constantly makes you feel like you have to defend your right to be treated well, that is your sign to walk away. There's your red flag. So if you need a permission to let go, here it is. Let them say what they want. Let them play the victim. Let them have their one-sided version of events. But you take back your peace. You take back your confidence. You take back your ability to move forward without carrying someone else's baggage. And I know that's easier said than done because it took me years to get here. But when I see how freeing it is, it makes every step, next step, every forward movement that much more intentional. Because now I know the peace because I can taste it. It's tangible to me. More now than it's ever been. So I'm grateful for that. I thank God for that every day, that I have the wisdom to change what I can change. Serenity to know the difference between what I can and what I can't, and the courage to do something about the things that I can. So I'm just applying it, and every day as actively as I can, so I can keep growing in how I wanna present myself to myself, and thus to the world, to my own confidence. So this was a good episode. I thank you for tuning in. Just my thoughts, but check out some of the latest videos that I posted. I know I've been getting pulled over a lot lately. I gotta change my headlight, but I've got some good videos up now. Still going through and still processing, but I'm in a good place. It's been a long road. But I'm here. Gratefully on the other side of that adversity and that spiritual warfare. And I'm learning. So I'm grateful to be here. There's a Q&A that I want to do next. I'm doing a lot of prayers. That's why I haven't really been recording, because a lot of it has been intimate prayers that I've been doing. And I've been keeping them to myself. But they're really good, and I've been praying with the family a lot too. So there's a Q&A that I wanted to do that's really good. Like some questions, just maybe a thought. What does my dream life look like? What limiting beliefs do I need to let go of? What is one small step I can take today toward my dream life? And exercise with the vision boards. I'm going to get another vision board. Like I said, my I am board is here. But to look at my ideal future now, I mean, I used to want so many things, and now it's like enjoying my peace. You know, I'm not worried about kids or getting married again. I'm not worried about dating. It's like more so just still falling in love with myself every day, doing things that make me smile and light up, that I can do for myself. And it's really been peaceful and freeing, and I'm getting all the love in the world that I need right now. Like I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I have this moment with me to just dive into what makes me feel free and what makes me feel happy. So it's a special moment in my life. I am grateful to the Most High for this. So join me next time. Just Jocelyn Grace's thoughts, faith after the fire. And just dive in with me on just some topics in healing that, you know, hopefully can resonate with you. And if not, you could share it to someone that you might think needs to hear it. So I thank you and I bless you. Hope you have a great evening, day. Yeah, but tune in next time and enjoy. God bless.